Welcome to Talking with Nana. Today, we're going to talk about shamanism. Be right back.
Let's go! Flaming sky above your head, smell of torture drives you mad, makes you run away so far with the speed of Jaguar.
Good morning, everybody. If you follow me, you'll know that I have begun my shamanic journey, okay? Actually, a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, just beginning this journey, and I thought I would share as much of it with you as I could, because there's so many things about shamanic practices that you can benefit from in your everyday life, okay? The shamanism itself is not derived or connected to any particular religion or culture, okay? The word shaman is actually a new word, okay? It is not an ancient word. Every culture and every religion has their form of what a shaman is. All of them, however, pretty much perform the same function or fill that same niche within their community or their village. So I have begun that journey, and one of the first things that I am going to practice is called Shamanic Fasting. And I am going to choose the time during Lent, starting Ash Wednesday, so that's going to start Wednesday, March 1st, I believe, and I'm going to do this shamanic fasting. Now, what is shamanic fasting, and how is it that this has anything to do with you? That's what we're going to talk about today, because this is a real easy tool that you can grow with over time, okay? Now, why are we choosing Lent? That's a Christian thing. Yes, it is a Christian thing. There are many shamans within the Christian faith. It's based on the time during Lent when Jesus was in the desert facing Satan and facing his demons and temptations. It is meant to invoke spiritual growth. It is meant to invoke self-discipline, okay? So just like the story of Jesus that all of you know that are Christians, it is a purifying act. It's a purifying ritual, and it can run the gamut. You know, it can be as intense as you want it to be, and it can be as simple as you want it to be. However, you don't want it to be too simple. So we are going to use that time. It's going to be about 47 days that I am going to go on a shamanic fast. Okay, so and this is my first time, so I want to choose something that is going to be a sacrifice, okay, for me. However, I want it to be doable, okay, and I want to be able to do it and be able to, you know, succeed, okay? So I don't want it to be, you know, too crazy. But it's a practice, and what it does is it helps three things. It helps you physically, okay? It helps you psychologically, and it helps you emotionally, okay? And we're going to talk about those three things. So, if you decide to do a shamanic fasting, or, you know, if you've practiced Lent in the past, you know the premise. It's meant to fortify your intent, okay? So you are intending, I'm going to choose to do without these things, without these comforts, okay? And in doing so, I'm going to stick to it, and in doing so, I'm going to reinforce and invoke my self-discipline. That is the point of the shamanic fasting. That is the point of Lent in the Christian faith as well, okay? self-discipline is something that is learned. Self-discipline is something that only you can teach yourself. No one can teach it to you, okay? It reminds me of years ago. Papa worked out in the field as a union laborer. And it cost us $10 a day for him to eat lunch. And I was like, look, I can pack your lunch. We can save so much money. I can, buy you this fancy little cooler. I can pack you this lunch. You don't have to go out and spend the $10 every day. He says, I can't do that. I'll eat my lunch before lunch. And I'm like, well, just don't eat your lunch before lunch. And he says, I can't do that. I will eat my lunch before lunch. So there was zero amount of self-discipline in that action, okay? And that's a simple thing. And we deal with this every day in our life, okay? We, do it with food, mostly. We see that favorite candy bar, okay? We see that favorite drink or coffee. And I'm just going to get it. I can't not get it. I can't not get it. I'm going to get it. I deserve it. You do deserve it. But not so much of it, okay? You've got to be able to tell yourself no, okay? You've got to be able to tell yourself no. And in life, it doesn't just go with food. It also goes with relationships, okay? When we're around people that are toxic for us, and we know we shouldn't be around them, but we just can't stop being around them, okay? It takes self-discipline to break that chain, okay? It takes self-discipline to break habits. It takes self-discipline to create positive habits, okay? So that's what this is doing. That is what this invokes and promotes, okay? So for Lent, or for my shamanic fasting, I am going to do away with wheat, so all bread, pastas, etc. And I'm going to do my best to do away with sugar as well. So wheat and sugar are going to be what I give up. And this is doable. This is going to be a big thing because I'm not only a big bread eater, but I make killer bread too. So this is going to be a thing. I mean, this is a sacrifice for me. The sugar, I'm not a big sugar eater anyway, other than in my coffee. That's not going to be quite the sacrifice that the wheat and the pasta, everything derived from wheat, that's gonna be a thing. And I've got to do it for 47 days, and I've got to stick to it. Now, I suggest you choose something that, like I said, is a sacrifice, okay, something you really like, but it's probably not good for you anyway. But you could also choose to say, I am going to drink this amount of water every day, okay? A gallon. I'm going to drink a gallon of water every day. Or you can say, I am going to walk a mile every day. So it's not only things that you can choose to take away from your life, but it's also things that you can choose to enact in your life that maybe you're not doing now that you should be doing. The key is sticking to it for the 47 days. Using that self-discipline, okay? Being able to regulate yourself and say, I am doing this today, and I'm going to do this until Easter is when it will end, okay? So that's what the point is. You decide what to restrict or what to invoke or what to, manifest within your life. That fortifies your intent. Your intent is, I'm doing without this. This is something that I enjoy. It's not good for me. Or it's not something I enjoy, but it is good for me. So it can go either way. You fortify that intent. And then in fortifying that intent, you use your self-discipline to do that. Emotionally, okay? How am I going to use the shamanic fast to help my emotional well-being? So with me, I tend to, especially with things going on in the world like they are, with the war and everything, I get caught up in that. So I am not going to get caught up in any of that. I am not going to make any videos regarding the war or prepping or any of that. If I do speak out on it, it will be in the place of peace. And only peace. So that is how I'm going to abstain emotionally. I'm going to use self-control and my self-discipline to abstain emotionally from the current events that are happening in the world today. And culturally, nowadays, we're talking about the news, we're talking about the media, we're talking about social platforms. So culturally, how I'm going to practice my shamanic fasting, I'm only going to spread positive messages. I'm only going to spread love. I'm only going to share my journey and help people. I'm not going to get involved in any drama. I'm not going to get involved in anything that does not spread peace. So that is how I am going to practice my shamanic fasting, and that is how I physically, psychologically, and emotionally will benefit from this practice and increase my self-discipline and fortify my intent. Okay? How's this going to help me? Okay, well, how this is going to help me is it's going to introduce my demons to me. Okay? It's just like Jesus in the desert. Okay? When he did without food and he did without comforts. And like I said in the beginning, when you quit smoking, you're cranky. Maybe you quit coffee, okay, and you get cranky and snappy, irritable. Those are demons. Those are things that are being caused by things that are not good for you. If doing without something is going to cause you to be someone different than you are, then we need to reevaluate what that is in your life. So if, say, quitting smoking is going to make me, a crabby person, then maybe I need to reevaluate the fact that I'm smoking. If eating bread and pastas and all those things I love is causing me to be overweight, which is not healthy for me, then maybe I need to reevaluate my intake of wheat and bread and sugar and all those things. You understand what I'm saying, okay? So this helps you evaluate how these things are affecting your life, okay? And, if you mess up, it's okay. The world's not going to stop spinning, I promise. Okay, if you mess up and you do have that Coke, if you decide you say you're not going to drink Cokes for the next 47 days, and you mess up and you drink a Coke, it's okay. It's okay. We're not going to worry about that moment. We're going to carry on, and we're going to continue to practice our self-discipline, and we're going to continue to fortify our intent, okay? And we move forward. We don't worry if we mess up or trip, okay? This is the first shamanic fasting that I will be, taking part in. So, I know this is my first time, okay? I don't expect to be perfect. I'm not expecting myself to be perfect, okay? I'm going to use my self-discipline to be as perfect as I can, but I am not holding myself to that perfect standard. Now, as I grow in my shamanic journey over the next years of my life, someday I want to be in a place where I fast for real for 47 days. Maybe a juice fast, something like that. That's real discipline. And that is, for me, that is the standard, the goal that I am reaching for in my shamanic journey. You can decide what your goal is that you want to reach for in your shamanic journey. Practices like this, and you don't have to do it on Lent, okay? You don't. This is just a great time to do it. You can do it anytime. You can do it as many times as you like, because the more often we can encourage our self-discipline, the more often we can encourage the fortifying of our intent, the easier it will be to invoke that practice in our lives, in our everyday lives. No longer will we be slaves to these unnecessary things that are in our life. We live a more purified life, okay? Which then brings us closer to being more pure spiritually, which is the goal, okay? And again, this journey never ends. It's never going to stop. I'm never going to graduate. I will get commendations at the end of this particular classes that I'm taking, but it's never going to end the journey. That's just a paper saying, carry on, keep going. So this will be until the day I die. So see what you can do for yourself. It's a great practice. You don't have to be crazy. Maybe it's going to be, I'm not going to eat peanut butter cups for 47 days. Something doable, but something that is a real sacrifice as well. Okay? So if you have any questions, you all know how to contact me. You can contact me through my website, www.nanapreps.com. Emails are free. If you have any questions, you need some insight, or maybe you need, just a keep it up, buddy, just a pat on the head and some encouragement, you can always get it from me. So don't hesitate to contact me. And I love you, and thank you for listening, and good luck on your shamanic fasting.